Hi guys, happy Friday. This is Shayna from the Trade Exchange, and I couldn't be more excited than talk about the markets today because we have made history. We broke all-time highs. Take a look at this. Dow Jones and S&P's closed out all-time record highs. So Dow Jones closing out 21,637. It is up 1.04% for the week, and the S&P's are up 1.4% this week, closing out 2459. Now the Nasdaq, it didn't quite break its all-time high, but it is up 2.59% this week, closing out 6312. And of course, our volatility is low, to be expected when the markets are as bullish as they were today, closing out 9.51. And gold closed out 1228. It turned around a 5-week slump. It's up 1.34% this week. And it really has to thank that weaker U.S. bond yields we saw this week and a weaker U.S. dollar. Take a look at this. U.S. dollar took a hit this week. So we heard from Fed Speaker Yellen for 2 days this week, and we heard from Fed Speaker Evans. And Fed Speaker Yellen's tone came off a lot more dovish, and she justified her June rate hike. She said, we have great job growth, we have low unemployment, and she still wants to reduce the balance sheet. They have a $4.5 trillion balance sheet that they still want to reduce. However, the objective for meeting our inflation target has not been met. We have an inflation target of 2%. Today, the CPI data came out, and it showed that it came out lower than expected. We have to focus on inflation, and that was what Fed Speaker Evans came and said today. So we need to focus on this sooner than later, and it remains to be seen. Are we going to have 2? Are we going to have 3? Are we going to have 4 rate hikes this year? Economists are predicting a rate hike in December. However, as they said, they want to focus on this inflation target. So the comments came off a bit dovish, and the U.S. dollar did indeed react, as you can see here. Let's take a look at oil. Oil is up this week. Oil is up 5.16% this week. So this was helped on Wednesday. The EI petroleum data came out, and it came out bigger draw than expected. Today we had our Baker Hughes number, come out, and the Baker Hughes, the U.S. total rig count came out even at 952. The U.S. oil rig count had +2 coming out at 765. However, the IEA, which is the International Energy Agency, came out yesterday, and they said that this increase in demand that they're predicting for the later half of the year could offset this oil supply glut that we are seeing, and hopefully they can get this under control. On July 22nd, I mentioned this last week, Libya and Nigeria were invited to meet with the other OPEC nations in Russia to discuss how can they control the supply. Hopefully they can get something, because Goldman Sachs came out this week. They said if they don't find a way to control the supply, you could see oil prices dropping below $40 a barrel. Now keep in mind, this is less than half of where we were just 3 years ago. So hopefully oil can find a way to get this price back up and maybe even back up above that $50 level. But again, they have to find some way to control that glut in the oil supply that we are seeing. Who else had a tough week? Look at this. Abercrombie. Woof. Down 20%. What happened? Well, they were looking at takeover bids. They wanted to see if they could get bought out. And the CEO comes down and he says, you know what? I believe in my company. We are not going to sell it, and I'm going to turn it around. And Abercrombie down 20% on that news that they are not going to allow themselves to be bought out. So hopefully the CEO was correct and can turn things around. But on a positive note, look at Arena. Oh, meow. It is up 26%. On Monday night, they came out that their phase 2 study of ralinepag, which is one of their drugs, demonstrated a statistically significant change from baseline in pulmonary vascular resistance in comparison to a placebo in patients with pulmonary arterial hypertension. It was a long one. Again, they're up 26% on this news, and they kind of held it throughout the week. You can see here they closed out above a $24 handle, which is phenomenal. Who else had a great week? Nvidia. Nvidia's up 13% this week. So they had great price target revisions, both by Needham, by Jefferies, and by SunTrust. So on Monday, Needham comes out, says, you can see here, they're trading at 164. Needham revised their price target to $200. Jefferies comes out on Monday. They revised their price target to $180. Then, 2 days later, Wednesday comes, SunTrust upgrades them to a buy. They give them a price target of $177. So you can see here with Nvidia, up 13%. Who else helped our markets this week? The financials, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, and Citi came out with their earnings, and they all did great. They all beat expectations. So that's a great forecast, because next week we have earnings season beginning, and next week we're going to hear from Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and Bank of America. So this is a great forecast to see where we're going to be next week with these other financials, and hopefully they can keep pushing our market higher again today. We made a bit of history. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. We're having a rainy weekend here ourselves, so I hope you have a little bit of sunshine, and I look forward to joining you next week. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.